In this video, I'm going to share with you the 5 biggest lessons I learned from my first long-term client where I helped him scale to become Australia's fastest growing company within 3 years. Now, this is verified by the AFR, by the Australian Financial Review. What they do, they get all these companies that apply to be a fast starter in Australia, send them their documents, they verify them, go through them, and then they rank them based on the criteria and based on the documents. So this isn't my opinion, it's not Joe Bloggs' opinion, and it's not my client's opinion. This is verified by the Australian Financial Review. And this is over a 3-year period. So this is based on principles and strategies, not on some tactic that's here today, gone tomorrow, relying on an algorithm, giving you to 50, 100K a month. You put the deposit down for the Tesla, and then the next month you're on the roller coaster going down and you're eating baked beans. This isn't about that. This is about sustainable growth. And really what I'm going to be focused on in this video is how to go to 7 figures. Basically how to hit your first 7 figures. It will be helpful to go beyond that in this video, but really the sweet spot is hitting your first 7 figures. And this is from in the trenches, from my experience, from seeing what works, not from what I see posted on YouTube or from what Alex Hormozi says or from some regurgitated guru or some book. This is from my experience. So I'm not going to waste any time. I'm going to go straight into it with number 1. Number 1 is offer clarity. Offer clarity. This is critical. So for my client, for the first 7 figures, which we hit 7 figures in the first year, we only had one offer. We were dialed in, super focused with one offer to one market with one outcome. And that triad right there, one offer, one market, one outcome, that's all we focused on for 1 year. By being laser focused, it allowed us to do improvements rather than starting from scratch again. So every single day, every single week, every single month, we were continually getting better and refining our offer, which then fed back into the marketing. And because we had the same marketing, the marketing got better, and then the marketing fed into the offer. So any objections we'll put that into the marketing would then overcome them, and then we wouldn't have to overcome them in the calls. Then we get new objections, put that in, and then we'd find out ways to make it better. We're focused on better instead of new. So why this is important is I see so many coaches, consultants, business owners create multiple offers before they hit 7 figures. And what this does, every offer that you create, it doubles the length of time for you to hit your first 7 figures. That's kind of a rule, a guideline that I believe to be true based on my experience. And part of the reason why my client hit that first 7 figures in 12 months is because we just focused on one offer. It's because of the rest of the 4 things which I'll share. But really the big hinge is just offer clarity. And why it's so profound is because let's say if you have 3 offers, right? That's 3 different marketing messages, 3 different marketing, 3 different marketing processes, like funnels, 3 different sales processes, and then 3 different fulfillment systems or delivery systems where you have to fulfill on it. So what that creates is complexity. You've got 3, 3, 3, 3. Well, I don't know what 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 is, but that's all the different variations to your business. Instead of going a straight path, you're going a windy path. And you're creating so much more confusion and so much more operational drag because you're not being known for one thing. My client was just known for one thing. It was very clear on what the one thing was. And people were just constantly hit over the head with this message because it was so clear and it was so compelling. What also happens is if you have multiple different offers, you have operational drag. So what I mean by that is, let's say if you do 3 different offers, each delivery system is going to be completely different. So you're being pulled in so many different directions that you're unable to streamline it. And what I've really learned over the past 10 years of being in this game is the businesses that scale the best have the best delivery system in place. If you're constantly changing how you deliver something, A, takes up a lot of time. B, your clients most likely aren't going to get the best results. And C, it's not going to be fun for you. The greatest companies have the greatest fulfillment in place that enable them to scale. And you can only do that when you are clear on your offer. If you have 5 offers, You can't have 5 different delivery systems and then scale them to a high level unless you have a team. So once you're beyond the 7 figures, if you're doing like 3, 4, 5 million, I'd highly recommend having different offers. That would be a smart thing to do, because then you can have a team, you can have a division for each team, and you can have a lead of that team that takes control. You can bring in coaches. You have more resources at your disposal and you have more leverage. But if you're wanting to hit your first 7 figures, having one offer and being the go-to person for that offer is essential. Focus is critical. Focus is absolutely critical for hitting that first 7 figures. And that's part of the reason why we did that first 7 figures with this client in the first 12 months. We only did one offer. We had the blinkers on. Everything else was a distraction. But here's the thing. Creating lots of offers is fun. It's sexy. It's shiny. You like creating offers because you love what you do. You got so many different ideas. But just like eating lots of food doesn't require lots of discipline. You could eat as much food as you want. There's so many options. You can have all this takeout. You can have all this delicious food and so much of it. But if you don't have the discipline to eat the right amount of food, you'll get fat. And if you don't have the discipline to create one offer and stick with it and make it better over time, and it'll never be perfect, but you can have perfect intentions, your offer will continue to get better and your bank account will continue to get fatter rather than your stomach. So the goal is to go from offer confusion, where you've got lots of different offers, your market's confused on what you do, you're struggling to deliver it, going from offer confusion to offer clarity. And you want the end outcome with your offer. You want to be so excited for people to experience it that it feels like they've got a lottery ticket. That it's like, hey, here's the ticket to the lotto. You purchasing my offer is like this. This is worth $10 million to you. Like this is going to change your life. That's the feeling you want to generate with your offer. It's going to change your life so much. And I'm so excited to deliver this to you that it's like a lottery ticket. And that feeling, that power, that conviction, that certainty comes from within, and then it gets translated without, because people always feel what you say more than what they hear what you say. And that only comes from when you are ultra clear, ultra dialed in, one offer, because you've made it so much better. It's had so many iterations. It's just like the iPhone. What are we on now? Like the iPhone 15 or something? I don't even know. But the iPhone 1, we laugh at it. Like you laugh at like a Nokia. You laugh at the old iPhones. But you should be laughing at your old product. You should be looking back at it being like, oh my God, I can't believe that was what my offer was in the past, 6 months ago, 12 months ago, 24 months ago, because it's natural evolution for you to grow and expand and make your offer better. But that only comes from having crystal clear and being clear about your offer and then making it better. So that's the first one. Go from offer confusion to offer clarity. Number 2, the second one is unique edge. What do I mean by this? More than ever now, there is a sea of coaches, consultants. There's a red ocean of them. So you don't want to be in the sea of sameness. You don't want to just be another coach, another consultant, another service provider, another agency, another business owner that has no differentiation. You want to have a unique edge, like a knife. A knife can cut through something very sharp if it has a sharp edge. It can cut through something very difficult if it has a sharp edge. With not much effort, it cuts through. So for your message and your offer to cut through, it needs to be unique. You need to be different more than you need to be better. Too many people focus on better. That's a micro jump. And you need to be better, but you need to be different. You need to be like, this is apples, this is orange. This is me, this is them. So my client he quit his corporate job to pursue what he loved. Then he's got passive income coming in from his property portfolio. And now he's started a business to then help other people do that while he's in his late 20s. That was a very unique edge. Getting media, getting exposure, getting PR was very easy because it was a very unique angle. Like, not many people were doing that in their late 20s. Sure, people were doing it in their 40s, their 50s, their 60s, 70s. That's very common. But in your late 20s, it wasn't common. So he had a unique angle. It was very easy for him to sell his offer. It's like, hey, I've built a $5 million portfolio by the age of 26. I've got passive income coming in. I quit my corporate job. I can show you how. That's, in essence, his pitch. Very compelling, but you can only do that if you've walked the path, if you have the unique edge that gets you to stand out. My unique edge is my first long-term client become Australia's fastest growing company. I learned a bunch during that process. And that's why I'm making this video, to share what I've learned with you, to help you on your journey. And hopefully some of this sticks, some of it resonates. One thing I say, one lesson, one way I've worded it, changes something for you, and you can go on the path of more scale, faster growth, better clients, more clients. So that's my unique edge. You need to have a unique edge. Otherwise, you're going to be drowning in the sea of sameness and race to the bottom, and you'll be a commodity and you'll be charging on price rather than on value. And that is not a place that I want for you, for any of my clients, or for myself. So it's ultra important for you to have a unique story that's attached to what you do, that's real. It's not made up. It's not bullshit. It's simple. It can be explained in like a sentence, and it has meat. It has substance. It's compelling. It has a wow effect. I know I was in Gymshark in London a couple months ago, and I got an amazing session from one of the Gymshark athletes there. I'm not sure what they're called, but she was sponsored by Gymshark. Now, how many athletes are sponsored by Gymshark? There is probably hundreds of them. So how do you differentiate yourself? Well, she said to me, she's like, it came up in conversation. My workout is the most downloaded and most viewed workout in the Gymshark app. And I was like, really? More than Steve Cook? She's like, yep, more than Steve Cook. And I was like, that's in your Instagram bio for sure. And she's like, wow, I never thought of that. Because that separates her from all the hundreds of Gymshark athletes, and that instantly puts her above them. And she's like, wow, you're so right. So you need to find a little unique angle that can just be a couple words. The fewer words, the better. The more you need to explain it, the more emotional it is, I've found. You want it to be logic. Just be like, that totally makes sense. People don't buy a premium purchase on emotional reasons. Well, they do, but they need to justify it with a sound piece of logic. So this needs to be the sound piece of logic. Like, why are you the best choice in your marketplace? That is a critical question for you to answer. And if you look at Gymshark, if you look at, they're like the biggest info product company, basically in internet marketing, one of the biggest. They, like Alex Hormozi, he was like, hey, we flew out to like gyms for 2 years and we did turnovers and we filled up their gyms in 90 days or like in a weekend or in a week. You know his story and you're like, holy shit, I want to learn from that guy. He's like, I've done thousands of sales calls. Here's how to sell. That is a very logical appeal to make an informed business decision on a premium purchase that makes it almost a no-brainer. You're just like, yeah, that totally makes sense. So having that unique edge is ultra, ultra important. And that's number 2. So number 3 is a simple funnel. So to hit your first 7 figures, you don't need to do TikTok. You don't need to do YouTube and email and Facebook and Instagram and run ads and do cold email. You don't need to do all those things, right? All you need to do is to have one simple funnel. And what I mean by that is just like how we have offer clarity rather than offer confusion, you want to have a simple funnel instead of a complex funnel. Too many people have a complex funnel. They're running basically 5 different traffic sources. They're doing 3 different ways to convert them. And then they've got 2 different offers. And then they've got 2 different offers, which lead to 2 different ways to deliver to them. So all of that, if you look at all the different combinations, there's just way too many. And you're scattered too thin. You don't have all these resources like Mr. Beast to create insane levels of content or insane levels of funnels. You're not Russell Brunson either, and you don't have a whole funnel team with designers and copywriters behind you. You need to keep this simple. You need to put the simple hat on and say that the path to my first 7 figures is through simplicity, not complexity. Simple scales, complex fails. So for my client, we only had one style of ad. We changed it a little bit. We changed the angles, but that's the front end. And we went to one avatar. So it was one avatar, one traffic source, which was Facebook ads, one conversion process. So to turn a lead into a call, we used a VSL funnel. And then one conversion process to turn a call into a client, which is on the phone. And then one offer. So it was one avatar, one traffic source, one online conversion, one client conversion, and then one offer. That process is seamless, right? From A to B, it's very simple. And then what we did as time went on, we stacked things. So we had an email sequence. Guess what the email sequence did? The only job was to get them to the phone call. And the only job of the phone call was to get them to become a client, if they're a good fit and if they were a good match, etc., etc. And then the only job of the phone call was to get them into that one offer, if they're a good fit. So by having this process, we made things better every single week. We didn't have shiny object syndrome. We weren't looking at what the latest TikTok trend is. We weren't looking at what the latest funnel is. We looked at the message and we refined it every single week. My client said to me, he's like, how can we make things better? That was probably the most common question he asked every single week. What else can we do? How can we make this better? And it was a ruthless focus, blinkers on, of how can I do it better? Not what more can we do? It was inside the constraint where we had the creativity to make things better. We weren't going out and going wider. We were going deeper. Mastery comes from depth. Loss of focus and being scattered comes from width. So by making it ultra simple, having a very simple funnel, a simple conversion process, how do we get this person who doesn't know us to then pay us money? How do we do that? The process is with a simple funnel, not a complex funnel. Pretty much any method works, some a little bit better than others, but they don't work if you try them all at the same time, or if you try one for a week or a month and then you try another one. That leads to instability and a roller coaster income and not fun results. So keep it simple and make things better. Just like the offer. When you're trying to hit your first 7 figures, it's ultra important to keep things as simple as possible and just to improve them. Just like how you would if you're seeing an athlete, let's say if you have a runner, Usain Bolt is training for his 100-meter run. He's not going to go out and do marathons and do swimming and then do powerlifting and just focus on that. Like he's not going to do a month, I'm just going to power lift. And then he's not going to do a month of just swimming. And then he's not going to do a month of like running 10Ks. That's not what he's going to do. He's going to focus on how can I run faster at 100 meters. Sure, he might incorporate some powerlifting or bodybuilding to get explosive, fast twitch muscle fibers, but he's not going to do it for a long period of time. It's like the England Olympic team, when they wanted to win a gold medal in rowing, they had one primary question. One primary question. Will it make the boat go faster? So when they had this beautiful idea, hey, I've got this idea. Hey, will it make the boat go faster? And if they answered no, they didn't do it. And if they answered yes, they would at least entertain it, because their sole objective was to make the boat go faster. What is your question that you can ask? That may be, how can I make this simpler? Or how can I make it unreasonable where if I do these actions, I will not hit 7 figures? Like, how can I make it unreasonable that I just don't hit 7 figures? So it's just, without question, if I do these simple actions and stick with it over a period of time and be consistent and be relentless and show up persistently and do the work time in, time out, day in, day out, just like brushing my teeth, if I do this over a long period of time, it's going to be unreasonable for me not to have the outcome that I want, whether it's 50K, 100K a month, 7 figures, bro scaling, ClickFunnels Award, whatever it is. Probably not ClickFunnels Award if you follow me. That's not my jam. I should see by my illustrious background. Now, the last one, hopefully I've got that point across about a simple funnel. Anything works, but not everything works. The last one is to know and to maximize LTV. What's LTV? Lifetime value. Now, a lot of people talk about lifetime value and they think they understand it, but they don't practice it. LTV is the gate to unlocking growth. 100%. Like if you are charging under $1,000 for your main offer and you've been stuck at a certain income level for a period of time, or if you're charging under $3,000 and you're stuck at a certain income level because you can't afford ads, because you can't afford a team, because you can't afford X, it's because your LTV is so small that it's almost impossible for you to grow. And you're at the mercy of the algorithm. You're at the mercy of people's buying decisions because you can't fully commit to what it takes to build, from my experience, a profitable, healthy, fun, sustainable seven-figure business. The businesses that make seven figures have a high LTV and they know it and they maximize it. So for my client, the first offer we had, so we had offer clarity. The first offer we had was for 10K. And it was basically like, hey, come with us. We're going to show you how to invest and we're going to build you a successful property investment portfolio. Very compelling offer. Pay us 10K. That was just the front end. Then he had the back end. He also had a big back end, which enabled him to scale. What this did was he built a moat around his business. He built a moat around his business where he was able to spend more and invest more in his business, which then gave him more of a competitive advantage because that enabled him to do number 5, which I'll get to in a second. But what it did, it set him up where he can spend more on advertising. So companies that struggle to scale ask the question, how can I spend the least on advertising? How can I just do a little bit and get a lot back? But you can't do a little bit and get a lot back. It doesn't work like that. The companies that really aggressively scale, they ask, how can I spend the most on ads and get something back? And of course, do it profitably because we have to be profitable. But they ask, how can I spend as much as possible? Because they have the LTV. So let me ask you a question. Good old Starbucks. What do you think their LTV is? They sell what, $5, $10 coffees? What do you think their LTV is? Like, how can they afford to spend on advertising when they're selling $5 things, $7 things, $10 things, whatever? How can they afford to? It's because they know their LTV. Their LTV is $10,000. On average, a lifetime customer at Starbucks spends $10,000. That's how they can afford to spend on advertising. That's why they can afford to spend things to get you to come into the store when they sell a $7.20 item. LTV, baby. They know it and they maximize it. Now, here's the thing. Having a high LTV is essential because ad cost and competition are always rising. It's like water, and you see in the water gauge, like in a sea or in a big pool, it's constantly rising. Now, what's important is your LTV needs to rise with this. Otherwise, you're going to drown. Your business, your company will drown. And I've seen so many companies go out of business because they are unable to effectively acquire customers with ads. And the reason why is because they don't have a high enough LTV. Now, if you just take LTV, like if you just even say like, what's the first offer worth and how much of that is profit? So out of 10 grand, let's just say my client made 5 grand. I don't know what he made, but let's just say he made 5 grand. How easy would it be to spend $5,000 in ads to get 1 client? How easy would it be to spend $2,500 and get 1 client? And then during that process, if you were to spend $2,500 on ads, and let's say you spend $10 cost per lead, that's 250 leads you get as well that you can nurture, build a relationship with, and then when they're an 8, 9, or 10, ready to buy, they can apply for a call and book in and become a client. Like, the game becomes real easy when you know your LTV and then you can leverage and maximize it. Real easy. And it becomes more fun. So that's the 4th one. It's critical to have high LTV, high margins, so then you can aggressively, or it doesn't even have to be aggressively, but you can confidently spend money on ads and then get a return back. So the last one, this is a shift we made a few months in working together, I said to my client, I said, you need to not be a property company. You need to be a media company. This is before like personal branding was big. I said, you need to focus your attention on becoming a media company. So we went really big on YouTube. I said, any question you get, any topic you want to share, any objection you get, anything that you've learned, anything that you would teach to someone who's a couple steps before you or a couple years before you or 6 months before you, I want you to put it on YouTube. Doesn't matter how long it is, doesn't matter what it is, just teach it. He's like, okay. So what this did was we then used the YouTube videos as long form content to build deep relationship. And then we cut it up into smaller pieces, put it on social to have width and to get eyeballs and to get reach. So this was like, it was almost in Australia, anyone that logged into their newsfeed, they saw his ads and they saw his content. He was omnipresent. He doubled down on it. He was a media company. And then what we also did, we built a customized website, and then we had lots of blog posts going deeper on those topics, on the ones that resonated the most. And we created, we did this after a couple years as we were becoming really like a media company and owning that space. We focused on creating calculators and online tools and things that people were searching for and bringing them to the website. And then guess what? We would retarget them. We would retarget them because they spend time on the site. They fill out the calculator, the tool, and then we retarget them YouTube with the social, then with YouTube, then on email, and then over time they become a client. And they were the hottest clients. Then it's more like, how can I do more? That isn't necessarily what you do when you're under $1 million though. That's kind of like what I was saying at the start. Most of this is like how to get your first $1 million, and then beyond that, this is really what accelerated them and helped them grow to become Australia's fastest growing company, because they were getting traffic, high intent from Google. Then we were retargeting them with the back end, with the right offers that had the right message, with the unique edge, with a simple process, with a dialed in sales process. And it was just a massive client acquisition machine. And ultimately what it did was got the marketing, all of the content to do the heavy lifting. So there was no hard selling. It was all pre-sold. So we didn't have to hard sell. And what that did was get to the yes moment faster. There's a yes moment in your clients. Let's say a lead comes on board and then they become a client, and that process takes 90 days. That yes moment comes in 90 days. We use content to bring that yes moment faster. So to go from, hey, I just heard about you, to, hey, let's work together. That moment, we shrunk it from 90 days to a lot less by leveraging content in a very specific and strategic way, in ways I've just mentioned, and a little bit more, but like high level, really that's as simple as it is. That's 80% of it. The work is in doing the work. It's not knowing the work. You don't make money from knowing your LTV or knowing what your message is. You make it from leveraging it and doing it. That's the most important piece. So what the media company philosophy did was shorten the buying cycle and getting the marketing to do the heavy lifting. I can't emphasize that enough. If you're dealing with objections and stalls and people asking who you are and what you do and why should they choose you on your sales calls, that is a recipe for hell. Like if you are taking sales calls for a company that does that, that's not fun. You take all that stuff, you put it online, you put your message out there, you be authentic, you be vulnerable, you add value, you put deposits in the bank account, and then you can withdraw from that bank and withdraw in terms of, hey, I'm going to add value back to you. You're going to exchange value with me in terms of money. I'm going to exchange value with you in terms of my offer. I'm going to change your life. This is going to be the best decision you've ever made, like winning a Tats Lotto ticket. I'm super pumped. Let's go. So that is the 5 steps that I went over. So starting with number 1, the first thing is offer confusion, going from offer confusion to offer clarity. The second one is going from having, instead of being in a sea of sameness, it's having a unique edge. The third one is going from a complex funnel to a simple funnel, working out what that conversion, what that lead gen process is, and making it better. The fourth one is knowing and maximizing your LTV so you can spend money on advertising confidently and grow faster. And then the last one is becoming a media company. That's simply building your brand, putting yourself out there, being raw, being vulnerable, sharing your lessons, sharing your wisdom, giving the world what they need by you sharing and stepping up with your gifts, your message, and your talents. So hopefully this has been useful. If you want more information on what I do, how I can help, my main focus is on client acquisition. How can we get hot leads daily, evergreen weekly clients? Click on the link below in the description, or just read the comment in the first comment below. Check that out. If it resonates, you can follow the steps. I'd love to speak with you. If it doesn't, hope this video has been helpful. If it has been, if you want more like this, I'm super pumped to share it. So subscribe, give me a like, share some love, feed some comments down below. Would love to hear what you think. Hope you've enjoyed it as much as I've enjoyed filming it. Bye.